session. My name is Lakeisha Ellery, and I'll be leading the session tonight. Along with me is my partner in recruiting, Miss Ellie Rich Cortez. And we also have Jenny Johnson here tonight representing the field team that's going to be able to answer any questions that you all have about the field. I apologize for my voice tonight. Allergies are just been kicking my butt here lately, so I'm a little bit congested. You might hear me clear my nose a little bit. I'll try not to because it's gross, so I apologize. But just bear with me a little bit as we get through this. So glad that everyone is here that came out tonight. We're excited to have so many people show up. So we'll go ahead and get started. So what will you learn today? Our session agenda includes an overview of the MSSW program, talking about our curriculum and concentrations, tuition and scholarships, admissions requirements and how to apply, and then also a section with our field education practicum office, talking about what do you need to do to apply for practicum and get that started as well once you get accepted. So what is social work? We'll start with what are some common beliefs. Anybody want to shoot out any, you can either put them down in the chat, which I forgot to tell you that Ellie will be manning the chat. So if you have any questions as we go along, you can drop them down in the chat and she'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Also, if you're not able to unmute your mic or you're not able to be, to speak or be heard, you can also put your comments in the chat as well. So our first question is, what are some common beliefs about social work? So if you've heard anything about any stereotypes that you've heard about social work, or common beliefs or things that people usually say, or what comes to mind when you think of social work, you can either put it down in the chat and Ellie will read it for us, or you could just unmute your mic and let us know. Any brave souls out there this evening who want to speak up?
We got some shy people.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't know how to mute. Sorry, this is Janae. I'm on the road, but I can answer that question. I will say one stereotype that I did have about social work is that they are put into low-income neighborhoods and are forced to deal with either taking children away or putting them into homes that they don't really want to go to. Just social workers being overworked with a whole bunch of cases they have to deal with, children getting lost in the system type things. That's one thing that I thought social work was and was just all about.
Okay. Thank you, Janae. You actually hit almost everything on the head. You get anything down in the chat, Ellie?
We have underpaid. Yeah.
I'm glad somebody brought that up. Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that tonight. So both of those answers together were actually excellent. So yes, some common beliefs are that social workers only give out welfare. They just sit behind a desk and act like they're giving out their own personal money to people, which means they're usually a little tight with it, not willing to help people get the benefits that they need. And then the other thing that Janae mentioned is take your children. CPS workers, they come in, they take your kids, they judge your family. They judge your family as not being good enough. They take your kids away. They put them in foster care. Sometimes you're able to get them back. Sometimes you have to jump through a million and one hoops to get them back. So a lot of the connotations and thoughts about what social work is and who social workers are and what they do is loaded with stereotypes. And we're hoping that by the time we get finished with our presentation tonight, that you'll have a new understanding and thought about what exactly social work is and what social workers do. So social work is the profession that promotes or restores the relationships between people and their environments in order to improve the quality of life for individuals, families, community, or organizations. So basically, social workers are the bridge between the people in society and the resources that are available to people in society. Their job is to basically help build people back up, get them back on their feet, and get them back to be productive members in society. Welfare is really supposed to be a hand up. A lot of people assume that once people get on welfare that, they don't want to get off of it. They'll be on it forever and that, it's a crutch. Well, if anyone really knows, welfare is not a whole lot of money. And trust me, the amount of money that you get for having more children doesn't really equate or balance out. So social workers are there to help people get back on their feet, get them connected to the resources that help them be productive and independent cities. This is done by working with individuals, families, small groups, communities, or organizations. Social workers are viewed as caring individuals who strive to enhance personal competencies, facilitate connections between people and their access to necessary social supports, advocate on their behalf of the disenfranchised minorities, and create social service organizations that are responsive to human needs. It's basically saying we need people that are caring, people that care about helping others, people that care about building up the supports and services that are available in the community to people, and especially having a social justice mindset and working towards those that have been historically disenfranchised by society. Oh, went the wrong way. Sorry about that. Is social work for me? Here's a checklist, a few questions you should ask yourself just to be sure if this is really the right path that you want to take. First question, do you like to help people? If you do not like to help people, social work is probably not for you. Although I will say there's probably a niche somewhere for you in social work. I'll say in the beginning, as you're going through your schooling and getting started, you'll probably have to help people. But at some point, I'm sure that there could probably be some place where you don't have to interact directly with people, where you're helping people but not directly interacting with people, that you could even find your niche there. So even if you're antisocial, even if you're an introvert, there's still a spot for you in the social work if overall you like the idea of helping people. Are you good at maneuvering through complex situations? Like we said, occasionally social workers do have to go into homes. Nobody likes to hear that, at this point, our moment right now, that, someone feels that they're not capable of taking care of their children the way that their children should be taken care of. That can be a low blow to somebody. So how do you maneuver through that situation to deliver that news to someone, get that child into a safe spot, but then also help that family to be reunited and to get back on their feet and to get the resources that they need to be a successful family? So those are very complex. They're not easy, and you have to be able to, maneuver and work with different people from different backgrounds and maneuver through situations that aren't always the same thing every day. Do you have a passion for helping vulnerable and marginalized individuals, families, and communities? That's like what we talked about a little bit earlier. You really want to have a social justice mindset. You really want to think about helping those that can't help themselves, helping people that, like I said, are normally marginalized from society. You really want to be an advocate for the underdog if you're going into social work. And I think that's really important, just a passion and a commitment to really help people that need help, that sometimes are ignored and, pushed to the wayside. And finally, do you have a passion for advocacy and promoting social justice? Again, do you want to help people? Do you want to see people be successful? Do you want to help eliminate some of the barriers that have traditionally been in place for certain marginalized populations? It's all about making the world a better place for everyone, and not just helping individual families, but being able to help families overall in the long run. What can you do with a social work degree? That's important. Nobody wants to just go and work for CPS or just, hand out welfare benefits. So this is actually a very brief list of the different careers and jobs that you could go into with a social work degree. I think one of the people don't really think about is a grief counselor, which can also go along with, end of life coaching, end of life help. A lot of times people have heard of birth doulas. They also have death doulas who help people and their families as people transition into the afterlife. That can be a difficult time for everybody involved. And just like, sometimes you need someone to help you, birth somebody into life. Sometimes you need someone to help you pass someone over into the, into death. So that's important. Group home director. I used to work for a home that would work with ladies who had a substance abuse issue. And they actually lived in-house. My friend, she had her LCSW, and that's what she did. She worked as a group home director. You could be a probation officer. You could work with the juvenile court liaison. You can get a law degree, which is actually a possibility with our dual degree program, which I'll talk about a little bit later, and actually do social work advocacy through the courts. You know, there's a lot of things that can be done. This is a very, very short list. Like I said, I think the only thing that really limits people is their own imagination. So I think if you enjoy social work and you enjoy helping people and you have a particular niche that you're interested in, you could probably find that in a career or a job out there. Next, our program, we prepare you for licensure in the state of Kentucky to get your LCSW. After 2 years of schooling or after you graduate from the MSSW program, you work under supervision with an LCSW for 2 years post-graduation. You get a certain number of supervision hours, and then you finally sit down and take the final exam. You pass the final exam and you get your LCSW. So we completely prepare you for that if you get licensed in Kentucky. If you're licensed, plan on getting licensed in another state, we provide you with the curriculum foundation. Now, there shouldn't be any more classes that you need to take, but if there's requirements in your particular state for licensure to take additional classes, that may be required. So that's just something that you want to look into, what the licensure requirements are in your particular state before you completely jump into the program, so you know exactly what you're getting into. Here, let's talk a little bit about jobs. Let's talk about a little bit about being broke as a social worker. The social work employment outlook from 2016 to 2026. We're coming up on 2026 here in a couple of more years. I'm sure they'll be putting another one out, but they projected a 16% growth in overall social work employment, a 14% growth in child, family, and social work positions, a 20% growth in healthcare and medical social work positions, and a 19% growth in mental health and substance abuse positions. Now, I'm sure this is just what they predicted for like the past year, a couple of years, and a few more years in the future. I'm sure the next group of predictions for 2026 to 36? Would they be right? Wow. I don't even want to think about that far ahead. I'm sure they're going to predict even more growth in these areas and additional social work areas. And the way society is going right now, it's difficult for a lot of people, and a lot of people need help. A lot of times people are getting help that in the future hadn't been available to them. So like in the past, there wasn't a lot of mental health and substance abuse. I would call them, I'm drawing a blank, I'm sorry, but resources for people to take advantage of to help them through these situations. And now we're seeing that, okay, in our society, it's important that people have mental health help, that they have help with substance abuse problems, and that we've got to provide people to be able to help them through this. So as more problems in society are discovered and realized, and people realize, okay, we have to help these people, you're going to see more positions grow in social work. Let's talk a little bit about money. In the hospital, state, local, and private, people with MSSW degrees can expect to make around $58,490 a year. Local government, excluding education and hospitals, you're looking at a starting salary of $52,900. Individual and family services, a little bit lower, $40,800. Mental health and substance abuse social workers, $43,250. So you see, these aren't small numbers to laugh at. This isn't exactly, coming into this, line of work and immediately, knowing that you're going to be stuck in poverty. These are starting out wages. And of course, they're set to increase. They can increase. We all know that based on, how well you work or how well you present yourself, as you move up positions, you're able to make more money. But one thing that is important is a study in 2017 by the George Washington University Workforce Institute found that people with a master's degree in social work earn about $13,000 more a year than those with just a bachelor's degree in social work. So that's something to think about. If you've got your BSW, you might want to take that step to get your MSW to earn more money. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of the Kent School. The Kent School of Social Work has been providing master's degrees in social work since 1936, right here in Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville's biggest city. One of the advantages I also mentioned about those that are interested in maybe coming to campus to do their MSSW is there are a lot of agencies and a lot of resources here in Louisville that, you can do your practicum in, which we'll talk about a little bit later. There's a lot of opportunities to get your feet wet, test the waters a little bit in whatever career or whatever niche or genre you're thinking about going into. And I think Louisville really offers that. It's I've been told that we have people that are homeless that move here because they are able to get the resources that they need to get back on their feet and get back into society if that's what they choose to do. So, and then we also have a large immigrant population because we have resources here that help those people to get, acquainted with the city, get acquainted with the country, be able to support themselves and their families. So there's a lot of resources, a lot of agencies here in Louisville, and I think that's why we've been preparing social workers for so many years now. So the program provides a generalist social work education that prepares students for ethical, evidence-informed, advanced social work practices with diverse, vulnerable, and marginalized individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities. That basically means that you're going to get a foundational education that provides you with all the information and knowledge that you need to branch out in whatever area that you feel comfortable. So we're preparing you for whichever way you decide to go later on, however you decide to specialize or whatever concentrations that you're interested in. We're going to provide you with a foundation. We're going to provide you with the ethics. We're going to make you comfortable with being around diverse people and marginalized individuals, and really prepare you to go out there into the community and be prepared to work with different types of people and help them with their unique needs. Now, if you're interested in the program, we offer two diverse program options. The first one is the advanced standing. That's 30 credit hours, and that's for individuals that already have their bachelor's of science in social work from a accredited school. So if you've already got your bachelor's degree in social work, you can take our advanced standing program. That's 30 credit hours. If you're able to go full time, that equals out to a year. So within a year, 3 semesters, you can have your MSSW degree. You're hitting the road, you're out there, you're doing the thing. Our regular program is 60 credit hours, and if we accept anybody with any bachelor's degree, you won't have to take any preliminary courses or anything like that. But our program with people with different bachelor's degrees is you get that foundational information that you would have gotten if you were a BSW student. And so that's why it's, twice as long, but you still get the same foundational information, you still get the same advanced information, and you also have the opportunity to participate in practicum and take your practicum hours. So with it being 60 credit hours, if you're able to go to full time, you can do it within a year. If you need to go part-time, I think they give you up to 3 years to complete it. So you have the opportunity to take your time or get right through it if you have that, if you have that option. Now, overview of our program. Some of the highlights of our program is that our program is offered on campus, or online asynchronous, or a combination of both. You can go hybrid. You can take some classes on campus and some classes online. I know some people are not located here in Louisville, so they're only interested in the online option. And like I said, that is asynchronous, which basically means usually about the first Monday of the week, the professor will put out all the assignments that you have. If there's any type of lecture, anything like that, they'll all release that on Monday. And you usually have the whole week to complete it till about midnight Sunday. And so you can view that lecture anytime you want to. You can complete that homework, whenever you want to, or whenever the deadlines have been set up for you. And you don't have to be anywhere in a particular time or a particular place and, glued to the computer to watch a lecture, So that gives you a lot of flexibility with, home and work and that sort of thing. We offer full-time and part-time to complete your degree. And courses are offered during the summer, fall, winter, and spring. So you can't beat that. That's why you're able to go 3 semesters in a row and actually complete the program in 1 year if you're able. We have dual degree programs, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. With our dual degree program, you can apply for both the Master's of Science in Social Work and also a master's degree in one of these other programs. And you have 3 years, within 3 years, you can get 2 master's degrees. So at about a year shorter time than it would take to take 2 master's programs back to back, you can get 2 master's degrees in 3 years. So we offer dual degrees in couples and family therapy, Pan-African studies, women's, genders, and sexuality studies, Juris Doctorate, that's what I talked about a little bit earlier, getting a law degree, Master of Divinity, and also healthcare ethics. Now, if you're not really interested in doing a dual degree, if maybe 3 years is a little bit too much for you, or that's too much, more than you want to take on at the moment, we offer concentrations within the program. So we offer concentrations in alcohol and drug counseling, gerontology, mental health, military, parasocial oncology, medical social work, and school social work. So basically, these concentrations are made up by like 3 courses that you would take, and it just offers you a little bit more insight, a little bit more expertise into one of these concentrations. If it's something that, if you know for sure you want to work with maybe veterans and the military populations, you can get a little bit more insight about what military social work and what those populations normally need. Oh, we've got some new programs and options that we have that we're really excited about. Now, if you're interested in getting a minor, we have Latin American and Latino studies that just opened up for our students. So that's something really excited that we're something that we're really excited about. If it's something that you may be interested in, please contact either myself or Ellie, because we have our upcoming information sessions about it to give you a little bit more information about the classes, the curriculum, and what to expect. And if you're interested in something this is you can apply for. And for those of you who are postgraduate, already have your MSSW degree, we offer your school social work certification. It's like up to 3 classes that you have to take. It helps you to move up a rank in here in the Jefferson County public school system. And it's also available asynchronous and online. So, however soon or however quick you can take these 3 classes, you can get this social work certification, help move you up, in the school system, or help propel you through whatever it is that you're hoping to do in the future. So we've got these 2 new programs that we're really excited about. Like I said, you can reach out to either Ellie or myself about either one, and we'll get you more information about both of those. So let's get to the meat and potatoes that I think a lot of people are here for: how to apply. When do you want to start? That's really most important. Do you want to start in January, in the spring? The application deadline is October the 15th. If you want to start in the summer, in May, the application deadline is April 1st. And if you want to traditionally start in the fall, in August, the application deadline is July 1st. Now, let me say this. Our application deadlines are not set in stone, okay? School starts August 21st. That's next Monday. I literally admitted a student today. We will work with you up until the deadline if we can to get you admitted into school. Things happen. Sometimes people decide the last minute that they want to do it. Sometimes it takes a while getting letters of recommendation, getting your transcripts, getting things together. We will work with you. These are, I would call them priority deadlines, especially if you're interested in applying for scholarships and that sort of thing. If you're one of those people that, really like to be on top of everything and like to have everything in place and really want to be, on top of everything, I would say definitely shoot for these deadlines. That's the way you want to go. But if things don't always work out the way that you want to, like I said, we will work with you up until the first week of classes to get you into classes, to get you started and get you into the program. Now, you'll be able to start classes. It may disrupt some other things that you need to do, like your practicum, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But, we'll at least get you started, get you in the program, and get you started taking classes. So we work with you up until the last minute. These deadlines are very flexible. Just talk to one of us and we'll work with you. Our admission requirements. If you're planning to do the advanced standing, we ask that you've received your BSW degree within the last 7 years. Usually anything beyond 7 years, we make you do the foundation, the 60 hours, because social work is so dynamic and constantly changing. So we want to make sure that, you're up on the latest of everything. So if you've gotten your BSW in the last 7 years, you're still good to go to apply for the advanced standing. Preferred cumulative GPA of at least 3.0 and a preferred social work GPA of at least 3.25. If you haven't been able to maintain those grades in undergrad, it's okay. We'll tell you a little bit something called an addendum that we'll talk about a little bit later that works with people who, didn't quite get the required GPA that we have. One of the great parts about our program is no GRE is required, not at all. You don't have to take that test for us. We don't care about your exam scores. Save your $150 and 4 hours of your life that you'll never get back, okay? We don't need it, all right? But what we do need is an online application, including the essays. The essays are listed on our applications. Submit an official transcripts from every school you attended. I cannot stress this enough. Even if you went to like a very small community college in your hometown for one semester, we still need that transcript. We need the transcript from every higher education institute that you've ever attended. And I will say that a lot of times when it comes to processing application, this is what holds us up the most, because we'll get like the application, we'll get the transcript from the school an individual graduated from, and then we look at that transcript, we see that they have transfer credits. Now we have to ask them to, submit those transcripts as well. That takes even longer time to get in. It delays the whole application. So we just say from the very beginning, please submit all official transcripts from all schools you attended. You want to submit letters of recommendation, your copy of your most recent field evaluation. That's only for those pursuing the 30-hour advanced standing, and a $65 non-refundable application fee. I will tell you what's not on here that should be is a resume. We need a copy of everybody's most recent resume. So you want to make sure you include that too. But our application checklist has everything on it. Few hints and tips for our application is reach out to more than 2 recommenders. You can never have too many people saying good things about you. The more the merrier, the more the better. So we advise you to reach out to more than 2 recommenders, because sometimes your recommenders are busy. It slips their mind. They don't do it. They don't return it. And, then it delays again your application, because we got to come back to you and we've got to be like, hey, so-and-so didn't submit their letter of recommendation. We still need another one from you. So get as many as you possibly can. That way, if a few people decide not to fill them out, you'll still in the end have your 2 that you required. If you haven't been enrolled in classes within the past 2 years, you can substitute with a professional reference. And by professional, we mean someone that has supervised you either in a job or a volunteer type situation. So we advise no personal recommenders. That means no coworkers, no mentors, no advisors, personal or academic, no friends, no clergy, no personal therapists, anything like this. We want to know someone who can speak to your academic ability and someone that can speak to your ability to work in the workforce and interact with others. Now, an addendum. This is for those that perhaps didn't earn the required 3.0 that we require for the program. We ask that you complete an addendum. And basically an addendum discusses any gaps or deficiency in your academic record, or provides any explanation of any previous academic review. So basically what you want to do is, let's say you had a semester where you completely flunked out. I had one of those in my undergrad. We just want you to explain it to us. Take the time to explain what was happening. If you had personal issues that were going on, explain that. If perhaps, you had personal issues that were going on, like, you had to, start working double time during that time period and school wasn't as important. Just give us an explanation. Help us understand what happened to keep you from earning that 3.0. But we also need to know is what you plan to do when you're a graduate student to make sure you are able to maintain that 3.0 in the program. So in addition to explaining what happened, explain what steps you plan to take in the future to make sure that doesn't happen again and you're successful in our program. If you have any transfer credit, if you completed any type of credit in a master's degree program somewhere else, those credits may be eligible to transfer, especially if you have credit from a MSSW program already. You can email the MSSW Kent at louisville.edu for a transfer evaluation request. And basically what you do is you compare your classes to our classes, see which ones you think may transfer over. You fill out this form, someone reviews it, and then they get back with you and let you know what credits are able to transfer, which ones aren't. So that's pretty good. Anytime you can transfer credits, it saves money and it saves time. So now we're going to have Jenny. Jenny, are you there?
I am.
All right, we're going to turn over for Jenny for a minute because she's going to talk about the field education placements, and she's going to mention some deadlines that are not flexible. So we'll turn it over to Jenny with practicum education.
Yes, as she just said, admissions practicums are more, we're like guidelines. They're like the pirate code, I feel like. But the practicum, our deadlines are not as flexible, and that's simply because we have a lot of additional steps that we have to go through when placing you for your practicum. So practicum is kind of the like culmination of your experience at the Kent School, where you're going to be able to take all of what you've learned in your classes and apply them to real life situations, real life people, communities, the whole thing. So the process is once you have been admitted to the Kent School, you will also be receiving I think it's a Microsoft document where you indicate when you would like to begin your practicum placement. You'll fill that out. We add you to a group in our system, and then we send you an application to apply for practicum. Once you have completed that application will ask you questions about what are your learning goals? Are there any barriers to your practicums? Where are you doing your practicum? Are you doing a concentration? You will then be matched with a practicum coordinator. There's 4 of us in the office, and we will work with you throughout the entire placement process. We have hundreds of agencies across the nation and, in fact, internationally, where we have placed students in the past. But we also are every day completing new affiliation agreements with new agencies with our students. That's a big part of our job, is connecting with additional agencies, finding new placements for you to complete your practicum. As a master's student, you can do a fall spring placement, or you can do a spring summer placement. The deadline for non-local students for a fall placement is May 15th. For local students for a fall placement, it's June 30th. And then for a spring placement, to start your practicum in the spring, non-local students, the deadline is September 15th, and non-local September 15th, and local October 31st, I believe. It's been a long day. The dates are all jumbled in my head right now. I'm sure that the ladies in admissions can tell you the week before classes start is just insane. Oh, look, it's on the screen. I got it right. I just had to look at the screen. That's how bad it is right now. I'm so tired. So practicum placements are done in a variety of places. Like Lakeisha was saying, social work is such a broad profession. We have students who do practicum placements working with children. We have students who do it working with elderly individuals, hospitals, schools, various community centers. We have people who are doing more macro placement, so they're working with more grants and public relations type things. Any population that you can think of, we have students working in that with those individuals, or any issue you can think of, we have students working in their practicum placement with that issue. So that's the important thing to remember, is that our dates are not as flexible. And so while Lakeisha can like get you in to start your, admit you today, August 16th, to start classes on the 21st, we cannot get you a practicum placement to start on the 21st. There's a lot of different steps that have to take place for that. I think you can go to the next slide now. Sorry. I can never remember the order of the slide. Yeah. Right. So once you've been accepted, you're going to get this Microsoft document. You're going to be able to fill it out. I think you can fill out the Microsoft document even without your U of L email address. And you just tell us when you would like to begin your practicum placement. And then we send you the application when it's time for that. So for instance, the people who are interested in starting a practicum in the spring, we will start sending applications next week. So we start pretty early. For the people who are interested in doing an application practicum starting next fall of 24, which is really weird to say, we send their applications in November. So it can be a pretty long process for us. So we start well in advance. Yes, and I really like that you put down there, please make sure you check your U of L email regularly, because that's super, super important when you're working for practicum. We have students that do employment-based practicums. There's some guidelines that go along with that. If you have questions about that, you can email me or the field edu@louisville.edu. We have students, like I said, who are doing this We have students who have done remote placements. We have students that are doing it either in place of employment. We have students that go to brand new agencies. And like I said, we have students we have obviously a ton of agencies in the Louisville area, but we have about half of our students that we're placing now are now out of state. So we are getting really familiar with all these agencies across the nation. And in fact, the world, who are doing some really cool work with their students and their clients. Next, I think there's one more for practicum. I'm not sure.
No, that was it. It's just 3.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any questions about practicum, I'm happy to answer them now. Or you can shoot an email to me or to the service account, which there's two of us that monitor the service account. So I'll answer it if you send it to the service account anyway. But I know there's typically a lot of questions as regards to practicum.
Will you stick around to the end to answer those for us?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So just hold your questions to the end, and Jenny will answer those questions for you then. So thank you so much, Jenny. We appreciate it. So the big question, how to pay for school. Okay. It would be nice if, they wouldn't have anything anybody had to worry about, but I know that people do. We have a lot of different scholarships that we offer that are available. We have our deadlines for scholarships are also not flexible. They will be changing soon, so I would say definitely keep an eye out and keep your ears open. We definitely send out information about scholarships once you've been accepted. Then that's usually the next step. We send out information about for you applying for scholarships. So definitely, like we said, check your U of L email, check your personal email regularly so you can get these notifications. But we offer scholarships all 3 semesters, spring, summer, and fall. So that's also good. These are the deadlines for those. For those who are wondering, we don't personally offer any graduate assistantships in the Kent School, but there are also quite a few of them that are available on campus overall. So you just have to reach out a little bit. Some of them are at the Peace Center, some of them are at the LGBTQ Center. They are available if you're looking to do a graduate assistantship. So just kind of look around a little bit on campus, or you can reach out to me and Elle, and we can get you that information about where to look for those. Tuition. If you're a resident, full-time, 9 credit hours or more, you're going to be charged $6,972 for non-resident. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, these numbers are actually from last year. So.
Oh, okay. You got the new numbers for us, Ellie?
I think yes.
Okay.
I believe for full-time residents, it's about 7,111 now. I think so. Not much more, but of course it increased a little bit. And then the online or the part-time rate, which is the same, is $791 now.
Okay. All right. So the good thing about our program, it's kind of expensive. Those numbers are big ones. But if you're doing it out of state and you're doing it online out of state, you only have to pay the $791 per credit hour. Isn't that correct, Ellie? Yeah, you only had to pay the $791 per credit hour for for the online rate. So that helps a little bit, rather than being an out-of-state resident coming on campus and taking classes on campus. One of the really good internship programs that we offer is the Traeger Institute Flourish Behavioral Health Internship Program. It's a program that offers they pay your tuition. They also offer you an $11,000 stipend, and they ask you that you travel to some of the counties right outside of Jefferson County. They're not going to have you traveling halfway across the state, but just some of the counties right outside of Jefferson County to work with some of the older and aging populations there. Not everybody has children and family to help take care of them. A lot of times being in rural environments is not as easy to get to doctor's appointments or get to grocery stores like it is in a more metropolitan city like Louisville. So we, offer interns to go out, work with these populations, find out what resources they need and help hook them up to the resources. We've actually visited the Traeger Institute several times. Nothing but wonderful things to say about it. People that are involved in this program, they speak very highly of it. And it's just a good opportunity, to get your education paid for, get a little experience, and also get a little bit of money in your pockets too as you go to school. So let's just talk about that a little bit more. So what can you do now to prepare to apply for graduate school? Establish and maintain good relationships with your professors. That's because you want to kind of get them to write letters of recommendation for you. So you want to get to know them. If you had a paper that you did very well on, take the opportunity to talk to your professor about it. Get your face known. A lot of times you might be, I was more of the student that was kind of quiet. I was an introvert, so I didn't interact with my professors too much. But luckily, I had one professor who just had the personality that he made everybody in the class interact with them. And because of that, still to this day, he will offer me a letter of recommendation. So get to know your professors, talk to them a little bit. Let them know that, hey, I'll be applying for graduate school soon. Do you think you'd be willing to write a letter of recommendation for me? And most of the time they will. So just start talking to them, start and get to know them, start establishing these relationships. Be aware of your cumulative GPA and working to keep it above 3.0. If it's below 3.0 and you still have the time to do it, start looking for ways that you can raise it, like by taking extra classes. I know nobody likes the idea of taking extra classes, but if you could take a class that that you can pass, that's going to be easy, that's not going to be too much of a burden on you, that you can get an A or a B in, take that class to help lift up your GPA. In my undergrad, I took a walking class. It was 1 credit hour, but it was an A. I walked at 7 o'clock a.m. I went and walked around the track, and that's literally what we did every day for a whole semester is walk. Help bring my GPA up. So, if you can find something like that, help, do that. And think about it again, if it's below 3.0, you need to start thinking about those strategies that you're going to use when you are a graduate student to make sure that you're able to maintain that 3.0. Talk with people you may know have completed a graduate program. It's very important to, be able to talk to and even have a mentor of someone that's already been through this. Nothing's worse than talking to somebody that has no clue what you're going through. They offer a shoulder, but that's about all they can do is offer a shoulder. You need someone who's been through the program, know what's expected, and not just, the MSSW program, but graduate school overall. That can be very helpful to be able to talk with and, rely on someone and go to them when you have questions, of someone that's been through this process themselves. Think about the types of social work and practical placement that interest you. So that's like we talked about, what are you interested in? What populations are you thinking about working with? What are you curious about but want to learn more about? Now's the time to start thinking about those things so that you're ready to discuss them with your practicum field coordinator when the time comes. And finally, set up a one-on-one with myself or Ellie, an admissions coordinator, to get more information about the program. So you can follow us on social media. We're on all the big ones. Instagram. I guess this is outdated too. I guess it's no longer Twitter. It's X now. I can't keep up. Facebook and LinkedIn. So yeah, we're on all the big platforms, no matter what their names are. We're trying to keep up with them. So at this point, does anybody have any questions for me and Ellie or even Jenny? You can write them down in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask whatever questions you have.
Greetings. My name is Amanda, and I have a question. Is GRAs or whatever it is, or GREs, I think, tests required?
No, not for our program. They may be for other master's degree programs, but we don't need it at all.
Okay, great. Okay. I have another question. This is Amanda again. Okay, so I have a master's already in health information management, and I always had a desire to do social work. So I guess, would some of that be transferable, or?
Yeah, I think up to 9 credit hours are transferable from a MSSW program. So, if you're able to go full time, that's almost like, a whole semester right there that you may be able to knock out if, the class that you've taken align with any of our classes that are required.
If it's within the last 3 years.
Okay, thank you, Ellie.
Yeah. If they're older than 3 years, we can't take them.
Oh man, Ellie.
Sorry.
Let's talk about this, Amanda again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's talk about like military, because I'm a military spouse. Do y'all offer any incentives, discounts, or something like that?
I'll let Ellie handle this one too. She's our military expert.
Unfortunately, we don't offer anything to spouses.
Ellie.
I keep throwing her under the bus.
I'm the bad guy. But we are getting a new Center for Military Connected Students. So if you're coming to campus, we'll have that. It's going to be a great space. And we also have an awesome team of great people that will help you get connected to any resources you need or any other questions. But we don't offer like, actually there are, you might want to reach out to them about scholarships because I know they just got
Yes.
a new scholarship.
There
For
is one
spouses.
for spouses or dependents. And Amanda, I will also say that there are always ongoing conversations about how do we support the military families and not just the active duty member. So this is a great opportunity for you to practice some advocacy skills and reach out to, not just politicians, but even people within the universities that you're interested in and say, hey, what are you going to do to support me as a military spouse coming back? Like what type of, tuition options are there for me, scholarships, things like that. So I would really encourage you to reach out because I know there's always continuing conversations about that at local, state, and national levels.
I appreciate you guys. Also, do y'all do like employment? Like I just started working at the Veterans Hospital. So is there anything that you guys
For
have as an
practicum?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we do have employment-based practicum opportunities. There is a specific set of guidelines that you have to meet in terms of being past your probationary period. You have to have a separate practicum instructor from your regular employment supervisor. And of course, the agency has to approve everything as well. So that is a possibility, but you just have to meet all the criteria.
Okay. I appreciate you guys. Oh, lastly, I'm sorry. Amanda again. Full time, is that 1 credit or 2 credits or 3 credits? I'm just
It's
saying.
it ends up being 9 credit hours, so it ends up breaking down to like 3 classes for part time. I mean, for full time, a minimum of 3.
Okay.
Mhm. Krista, did you have a question?
Yes. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. You talked about the $11,000 scholarship. I'm out of state. Is that something that would apply to me?
Oh, well, it's not really a scholarship, it's an internship. So it would be something that you have to actually be able to come and be able to do in the area. So, probably out of state, no, unless you plan to come on campus and, take your classes on campus. Or even if you wanted, if you were close enough and you could do it online, you could probably still do it that way. But you'd have to be able to, fulfill the requirements of that position.
What was that scholarship called?
It's called the Flourish. It's an internship, Flourish internship through the Traeger Institute.
Okay, I didn't see that, so I'll look for that again.
It's a practicum placement is what it is. So if you are going to do your practicum at Traeger, and they do it for second year students or advanced standing students. So your last practicum where you're doing at least 500 hours. And it is for local students. They don't say like in-state per se, because we have, people who are way Eastern Kentucky, but they needed to be local students is how they phrase it.
Okay, so if I moved there for that semester, would that
You have to apply. When you apply for your practicum, you are referred out and then you interview there. So if it's not a good match, like just because if I send a referral for you to go interview at Traeger, it doesn't mean that you're going to get a practicum at Traeger because you do an interview process.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Brianne, you have a question? Okay.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for hosting this. This was super helpful. I'm in Minneapolis. I just have a couple super brief questions. Number one, what are the expectations, time, say 2 hours per, 2 hours of work per week per credit kind of a thing? What's the expectation there, does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Ellie, what would you say? Have you had any information about this, about like what the expectation is?
For what? Sorry, I was trying to answer a chat question.
Oh, no.
I can tell you what's in my syllabus.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you talking for a practicum class or are you talking for like just a general class?
for just in general class. So I'd be coming in with like advanced placement or whatever you call it, or advanced standing with the BSW. Yeah, just kind of, ballpark. If I was taking, 9 credits, is that 15 hours worth of work? Is it 50 hours worth of work?
So I think in most of the syllabi are going to say a minimum out of class activity, and they put in there, I think 7.5 is the number per week per 3-hour class. Whether or not that's entirely accurate, but that's not a graduate. Like I teach a seminar class at the BSW level, and that's what we have in our BSW one. I'm trying to say that when I went to college in the dark ages, my mom always said something like, oh, you need to plan for every 3-hour class to do like 10 hours or 15 hours. But that was not entirely accurate. Yes, there were some classes that were a lot more labor intensive, and then there were some classes that did not. And when you are taking a practicum, it is a 3-hour class that you take, but you don't have to go, like, you're at your agency for 17 hours a week, and then you're not in a class on top of that. You'll have some assignments and stuff, but nothing, you're not expected to go attend another class for 3 hours a week.
Understood. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And then are all of the classes, so I'm interested in 2 of the concentrations. I'm trying to decide which one. Are all the classes available in each semester? So if I wanted to get one certification or whatever, could I then also get a second one if I just, took, like if I wanted to go the gerontology route, I do that. And then if I wanted to do the medical oncology route or whatever, could I do that like in the summer? Just boom, boom, boom with 3 classes about that.
You have to look at the specific concentrations. I know for a fact that oncology is like, there's one in the fall and one in the spring.
Okay.
There's a sequence. I'm not sure about all the other ones. Sorry, Lakeisha.
No, you're fine. Now, I was going to say that usually the concentrations are composed of electives. So they kind of like a substitute for your elective. So I'm thinking if you took you did more than one concentration, it may extend your time some in the program,
Right.
More than one, I believe, puts you over by 1 class.
Okay.
I think.
And if you're interested in oncology, if you would like to send me an email, I'll connect you to our endowed chair of that program, because I'm obsessed with her. She's like the most amazing person on this planet, and I like to connect students with her. And it is the oncology program, but she covers more than oncology. She does a lot of medical social work as well. So if anyone wants to be connected to Dr. B, just let me know. I'll do an email introduction, because she's fantastic.
I would love that and appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just shoot me an email and I will connect you guys. I'm Jennifer. I'll type it in the chat. That's just easier.
Thank you.
Did you have any more questions, Brienne? Okay. I saw Clark, you had your hand up. Did you have a question or?
My only question was, as far as applying, I know you talked about you have to have a BSW within the last 7 years. What about those people who don't have a BSW?
You can still apply. What you apply for is still the advanced standing. You apply for our regular standing, which is the 60 credit hour.
That's the 60 credit hour. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kirsten, did you have another question, Kristen? Anybody got any kind of question? They can just jump on in, or is there anything in the chat, Ellie?
I have a question.
Okay.
So I got my bachelor's in family and child psychology. My route was clinical mental health, and I was supposed to start at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology until, of course, I visit U of L and was introduced to the Kent School. But I still want to be a therapist. So would it be a master's in social work and then a concentration on mental health? I'm just trying to find out what route do I go in order to be a therapist.
I'll answer that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm not a therapist. I would be a terrible therapist. So thank you so much for going into therapy because we need good therapists. There's a couple different ways you can do it. Obviously, you can get your MSSW and then you can go on to become a licensed clinical social worker. That's what they're called in Kentucky. There are, I think, like 900 different titles for social workers throughout the United States in terms of LCSW, LMSW, CSW. There's no consistency. So that's a way to do it. Some people do the mental health concentration, some people don't, and then you can still get your LCSW. Another option is the CFT program. We have a dual degree MSSW CFT program, which is fantastic and incredible. And when you graduate, you have that MSSW, but you also have a Master's of Science in Couples and Family Therapy. So
okay, that's what I was actually looking into.
yes.
Do you, with the tuition and doing that dual, are you getting billed for both of those, or is it all in one?
Some of the classes overlap, so it's like a specific program that they have set out for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also, geez, I literally just had it. With the programs, with the practicums, I work for the post office, and I was thinking about getting transferred to the Nashville post office. But I know you all said you all start the applications for your practicums basically now. So how would that work?
So when are you thinking of moving?
Well, within that system at the post office, there's rules, so I have to wait, I think, another 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Is just to go ahead, just do all my practicums here and then try to transfer?
Well, I'll be honest, if you know you're going to be where are you in Chicago? Is that where you are?
No, I'm actually here in Kentucky.
Okay, so if you know you're in one location for a year, we have had students that do a practicum in one location and then they move for whatever reason, and then they do their second practicum in a completely other location.
Okay.
So, and we have, if you're moving to Nashville, we have a lot of agencies that we work with in Nashville, and in that area.
And then just one more, I apologize, you guys. With the license, do I have to take a test at every state that I am in order to get licensed?
So there's not really good reciprocity when it comes to licensure. So the best thing that we recommend students to do is whatever state that you want to be licensed in, that is the state that you need to be thinking of when you're going through your practicum and all of the testing that you need to do. So if you're thinking of if you're going to be thinking of living in Nashville long term, look at the Tennessee, and you really need to go straight to the Tennessee Board of Social Work, not just like Google it, because you need to go straight to the source because sometimes it's updated. So go to them, see what they require, because and I don't think Tennessee is one of these, but some states will say Virginia will require 600 hours of a clinical practicum if you want to get your LCSW. We don't do 600 hours. So we need to make sure that the student is aware you are doing 500 hours, but you're also booking 100 extra hours and completing those, so that when the Virginia State Board of Social Work comes to us, we can say, yes, they did complete 600 clinical hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
I have a quick question.
Okay.
So I'm in New Albany,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty close to Louisville. I assume that would be considered out of state.
You're considered local for practicum for us.
Awesome. And also, I was wondering, I'm a single queer mom. Do you have scholarships off the top of your head for someone like me?
Not that I can think of right across the top of my head, but there's quite a bit of different scholarships that you can apply for. So, and my standard line is apply, apply, apply. I don't care what it is. If you fit it in any way, shape, form, or fashion, apply for it, because a lot of times these scholarships go unclaimed. Nobody applies for them. You know, so if there's like I said, we have quite a few that are available, and if you're eligible for them, I just say apply because you just never know.
Okay.
Yeah, our program manager, Valerie Miller, handles the scholarships. So that's the only reason we really don't know like each individual category, but there are so many, like she said. So there could be definitely. And it's all in one application, and we let you know when they open each semester. So definitely look there. And also you can email Valerie if you want to. I can put her information in the chat as well.
Perfect. I was curious if you had office hours or something where I could meet with an admissions coordinator to kind of.
Yeah. That would be me. I'd be your admissions coordinator. I'm in office on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So anytime on those days, if you want to pop in, pop in, or if doing it through Teams would be easier for you. I'd be willing to meet over Teams, and you don't even have to come to campus. So just I'm sure Ellie put my email information in the chat box. So just find it and hit me up. We can work that out.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I know I saw a few more hands. Nobody else?
I have one. Do
Okay.
you? My name is Morgana. Do you do the practicum at the same time that you're taking your classes, or how do you suggest doing that?
So your practicum, you do have a practicum course that you register for, and you also have a practice course that you register for. You have to take those two concurrently. So you don't have to take other classes at the same time, but that will extend the period that you are in school because you still have to meet the required of the 30 or 60 hours. And the practicum course and the practice course are 3-hour courses. Even though you're working 16 to 17 hours a week at your practicum, you're getting 3 hours credit for it. So I would say that most students just kind of take that full load and do the 9 hours and then just have the practicum on top of that. But there are some students that have kind of spaced things out. And so I've been working with one right now that all they're doing this semester is taking their practicum and their practice course together.
Is it better to take it after going through your classes, then taking it, or taking it first?
So are you coming in as what we would call a generalist student without a BSW?
Yes, I just have my degree in social work as well. I got it in 2020 from Spalding, but I'm in Minnesota now, and I do therapy as well. So I heard you about the dual program, so I would like to do that.
If you already have a BSW, I don't see any problem with going straight in and starting your practicum right away with all your other courses. Okay. We allow students who are generalist students to come in and start their practicum right away. If they don't, even if they don't have that BSW degree, if they're coming from a different degree field, some people can find that a little bit overwhelming because they don't have a lot of the foundation under their belt right when they're starting their practicum. Some people, it's not an issue, especially if they've worked in the field for a while. And so we do have some students that come in and they take 9 to 12 hours in the fall, and then they come and do a spring, summer practicum. But especially if you already have a social work degree, like.
No, I have a psychology degree.
Oh, well, you also have so I had a psychology degree too. So I think you would be fine because a lot of the basic stuff that you're going to get in some of the social work classes, you've gotten from your psychology degree. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be super overwhelmed with that at all.
Okay. And do you have practicums in Minnesota?
So I think Minnesota's my state, if I'm like imagining my map correctly. And I have had a couple students up there, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. But that's not an issue because if you were to apply, then you would get assigned to me and we would get cracking on that right away. And we would look for different agencies together, basically. And we probably have some. I just can't remember them off the top of my head right now.
In my office, I work in a pediatric office. And I have a social worker there, so I didn't know if maybe we could hook up with them or what.
yeah, that's how a lot of people end up doing things like that. If it's employment based, we just have to do a couple different forms and make sure that we meet some criteria. But yeah, we're not saying that nothing's a possibility, because everything is a possibility in the Kent School Practicum office.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Kristen, you want to jump on in? You may be muted.
Oh. Hello?
Hello?
I was just wondering if more questions come to mind after this evening. What email or who may I ask?
You can contact either Ellie, Rich, or myself. Either one of us will have questions, or if you have questions about the practicum, Jenny Johnson will be able to answer those for you.
Okay, are those on the chat, or do I just find it online?
No, they should be, our email addresses should definitely be in the chat.
Okay, I'm going through the notes now. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Courtney, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just was wondering as far as transcripts, because I got my BSW from U of L, but I had transferred to U of L from another school. So when I applied, I had sent in all my other transcripts for my BSW. Do I still need to send those in for my master's?
You shouldn't have to. If we got it from your BSW, we automatically pull your U of L transcripts from you, and we'll also pull your field evaluation for you. So if you haven't attended any other schools other than U of L and the other ones, then we should already have those for you. We can always double check ahead of time, though.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else want to jump in?
Enrollment. This is Amanda again.
Okay.
Enrollment. So is it rolling admissions? When is the next class? So I can get all my documents, because I think I already submitted some to you guys already. I just need to meet up with one of you guys. I don't, just one of you.
It would be me. The admissions is like I said, classes start Monday the 21st is for the fall semester. Let's see, the spring semester will be January. Do you know the exact date? Either Jenny or
it's the 9th. Wait.
Okay.
That may be JCPS. That may be my kids.
So is it too late for me to enroll for Monday?
I'm just gonna be realistic with you. We probably wouldn't be able to get you in Monday because I haven't had anything from you come across my desk yet. So it'd probably be really a stretch to have you get in by Monday. But we could definitely work on you to get you in started for the January enrollment, the spring semester.
Well, I wanted you to stress a little bit.
Please, I got enough stress right now as it is. I swear I do.
Amanda, it's the week before semester starts. We're already.
Yeah.
I understand.
Some of us have kids who only got to go to the first day of school, and then they have been out for a whole week. So
it went one day, got traumatized, and haven't been back. So
that's why I'm like twitching right now.
I totally understand. Mine's grown, but they still here. They still here.
Oh yeah.
They never leave.
Yeah. Well, if nobody else has any more questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Before we do, I just want to thank Jenny so much for being a rock star tonight and coming through and answering all those extra questions. You know, if you don't work in the practicum office, it's just really impossible. It's impossible to learn everything about the practicum office. So we really appreciate you taking this time out of your evening and coming and answering these questions. So thank you so much. You really rock, and we appreciate it.
No problem. If anyone has any questions that you think of later, feel free to email fieldedu@louisville.edu. Sorry, my phone is ringing now. Fieldedu@louisville.edu, or my email is really difficult, is jennifer.johnson@louisville.edu. I know that one's hard. So,
well, thank you. We appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop presenting now. And I appreciate everybody that's come out tonight. Thank you so much, Ellie, for handling the chat and all the questions and everything. Like I said, I handle A through L, and Ellie handles M through Z. So if you have any questions, just reach out to any one of us. Even if you don't get the letter right, we'll answer your questions. It's not a big deal. We're here for you. We're here to help you all the way through the process, answer any questions that you have, and just kind of like social work you through the application process. We want you to be successful. So appreciate everybody coming out tonight. You all have a good evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.